Hey everyone, we're taking a brief vacation from the Wasteland, returning to Cyrodiil for another Elder Scrolls Oblivion challenge. Now, going through the game without magic or magical gear, I think it'd be pretty darn easy if we were at a low level. And for those of you who are new, or if you need a refresher since it's been a minute, the added stipulation to these challenges being that we have to get a different Daedric artifact in every run, means that we have quite a bit of incentive to hit a fairly high level, on top of why we should get to a higher level anyway, so that we can battle higher leveled enemies and have a good old time. So you pretty much know how we're going to do this run. However, there's more to it than what you guys are getting with the video title's face value. In addition to that, let's talk about what else are restricting in this run. Now, we can use potions because, we have to be able to heal ourselves, right? But only basic rudimentary ones. Potions that restore hit points and fatigue are allowed. We'll be crafting our own through alchemy because it's science and not magic. And we'll be allowed to use Cure Disease too if we need it. Besides that though, no extras like Potion of Nighteye or Potion of X Resist, etc. Because that feels against the spirit of the challenge, because they might be potions, but they give us magic buffs, so yeah, we're not using those. We will be allowed to make use of the health potions in Oblivion, although they will pretty quickly be a lot weaker than the potions we'll be brewing up, because we love alchemy here on this channel, and we have quite a bit of strategy at our disposal with the HP and fatigue regen potions we can make. Potions are allowed, but most likely we'll be crafting them for alchemy XP and just selling them for the sake of mercantilism, because that's how you level up your mercantile. Man, I love this game. Oh, and before we officially start, I completed this challenge a while back, and it's been on the backlog, which kinda works out because now there's a remastered version of Oblivion. Now, all of our challenges are going to be done with the classic version, but who's to say I won't redo some of these somewhere down the road? Because a buddy of mine did stream a bit of the Oblivion remaster, and it's pretty cool, so hey, who knows, maybe somewhere down the line. That same pal, you might know him from the comments section as Murphy's Law, told me that they added a sprint mechanic, and I also got to see it. That's pretty cool. And now, I grew up on games well before the sprint mechanic became commonplace, so I personally have no opinion on its inclusion, but I do think it's a great idea for younger gamers or those who played Skyrim or Fallout 4 first, and have the opportunity to experience this absolute gem of a game in 2025. I figure I'm just gonna wait for the prices to drop before I get my copy, but even when I do, again, we're doing all the Oblivion runs in the classic version first, as well as our Let's Play. Man, it's so weird to think that was almost 20 years ago. Maybe during one of my runs I'll engage in some nostalgic banter I associate this game with, because it was the game I'd play with the group of peeps I used to hang out with on the regular. Then adulting happened, as it does. But hey, you didn't click this video just to listen to some random nerd's nostalgia about this game. Let's get started with this challenge, and like usual, we're gonna lead off by going to Vilverin, kicking down the door, raiding Jalbert's little, crypt, I guess, and killing everything along the way for precious loot. So while we engage in some chopping, cake decorating, and chopping, let's go and talk strategy here for how we're gonna level up. I figured to make one weapon skill as a major skill for easy and fast leveling, so we're not going to be using blunt weapons until we're ready to get stronger. I'd like to level both light and heavy armor, because there's a lot of cool designs in both categories, plus heavy armor is great as a minor skill, because it's an amazing way to increase your endurance score by the time you level up. Armorer goes perfectly with both, another great skill you want to focus on if you're trying to level up your endurance. And with blade as our minor weapon skill, we'll be getting a consistent, steady boost to our strength attribute as well. Light armor can help us with speed, and as far as major skills go, I also like to set acrobatics and athletics, because that way, we'll always be gaining some experience points from major skills, and it's pretty great being able to level them up a little bit faster, because both of those level pretty darn slow. If memory serves, characters gain 25% more XP for each major skill. But we can also level up safely outside of combat with Sneak as a major skill, while we'll be using light armor for fun and speed XP farming. And I think it's best for our character to use heavy armor in the later sections of the game due to the higher level encounters, so we're going to want to be able to tank hits from those enemies, otherwise we're not going to make much progress. That's another great thing about doing runs at higher levels. If you want to see a variety in Daedra in a challenge video, well, this is definitely the run for you. And now that we've cleaned out Vilverin, as we do, I think a great and fun way to work towards our desired level will be to dip our toes into the Fighters Guild. We won't be doing the entire quest chain in this run because it's quite long, though very fun. It's been quite a while since I've done that side story, and I remember liking it a lot, and let's just say that the start of our Fighters Guild journey is not at all disappointing. Our first order of business has us delivering a shipment of gear to some mines where our fellow Fighters Guild bros and sisters are waiting for us. We'll have to clear the mine of goblins as miners have been killed, Pretty standard stuff for early game questing. The goblins are great for battling at earlier levels too, and we'll be seeing some in Miss Karkand much later in the run anyway, so it's best we get used to seeing them right now. Mission's pretty easy overall, not much else to say about it, but the way it ended, well, I'll just let it play out and you decide for yourself. Man, it feels great being back in Cyrodiil classic style. We did our job, we delivered the weapons and cleared out the mine, but our orc boss buddy isn't too happy about what happened. Maybe he shouldn't have sent warriors with Achilles heel syndrome to a mine full of dangerous goblins. How did those guys make the cut again anyway? Probably desperation from the up-and-coming Blackwood Company, but more on them later. Right now we've got an Oblivion gate to close and Sean Bean's version of Jon Snow to save, so let's get to it. As we begin making our way through here, I just want to touch up on something real fast. Near the start of the run, I said that we had made blunt a major skill, and I meant hand-to-hand. It was it was even on screen. Yeah, my bad. I think I put up a text prompt for that. Not sure, but in case I didn't, well, yeah, I made hand-to-hand a major skill, and for the same reason. A little blunder aside, yeah, the Oblivion gate is pretty darn easy. It usually is because we like to go here straight away. I did also say at the start of the run that I think the early game would be a bit too easy, and I wanted to use this area to kind of punctuate that point, because we tend to come here very early on in these runs, this one being no exception. Keep these particular encounters in mind when we see what we're fighting a little bit later on. Anyway, as we approach the Sigil Keeper here, we bonk him and he falls, and we get his key, very cool stuff. And while we wrap up business here in Oblivion the first time around, I just want to give a quick shout out to Patrolling the Mojave. What's that? That's not the, there's no You Wish for a Nuclear Winter to follow? No, I'm talking about the channel Patrolling the Mojave, right here. They're an up-and-coming channel who does some pretty cool Coliseum-style battles between various NPCs in Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, using Tele2 Wastelands to sometimes have the two games NPCs fight one another. You know, it's like when I'm not making these videos, I'm also a viewer. And to show my appreciation for folks who keep me entertained while I work on these videos or do whatever around my room here. This is a channel I've been watching for a fair bit now, and I leave plenty of comments to help their algorithm out, so if you enjoy this content, this type of content, consider going over there and doing the same, and tell them Midlothian Odyssey sent you over there to help them out. And not only do they have Coliseum battles between the NPCs, but in many of the videos, what they'll do is they'll equip the NPCs, like, say you want to see Legate Lanius with like a BB gun or something, well, that's there too. Jumping back into the fray here, I figured that we should get some leeway into the story because I don't think this part would be too challenging whether we're at a higher level or at a lower level. Because these cultists are complete morons. They're like, yeah, let's go meet up with a complete stranger in the sewers. I'm sure nothing's ever gone wrong down here. You know, discounting the goblins and other vermin lurking within. And the real icing on the cake, Boris survived. Love that guy. Now, to prepare for Lake Arius Caverns, what I'd like to do is go hunt down some venison, just like I used to do when I was a wee lad growing up in the sticks of West Virginia. Oh, what, you've never punched a deer and gotten venison for it? Well, you're doing something wrong. So after Harrow is finishing jobbing to us, we're gonna battle the real challenging guy here, the Gatekeeper with no name. You think I kid, but the Gatekeeper doesn't need a name. It's a moniker for a a pretty hilarious board game back in the day. The only way that Bethesda could have made this encounter more awesome is if the Gatekeeper was like, "Stop! Whose turn is it? Answer me, maggot!" Ah yes, those experimental days where VHS tapes went with board games. It was honestly kind of awesome, but once you play the tape, you kind of know what's going on. And now, in stark contrast to that obscure reference that totally didn't give away at least my age bracket. You might think that going through Lake Arius Caverns is the same thing every time, but no, not really. These cultists always, even in 2025, find a way to make this an entertaining experience clear across the board. And now, unfortunately, we're not able to pot-shot Mankar right there, which, believe me, while that would make a lot of sense, it would kinda cut out most of the game's content going forward. Some might call that bad design, but I like to think that Mankar is just as amused as we are as we cut down all these cultist goons to size. Now, Mankar's daughter, Aruma, typically is the toughest NPC in here, but, like, I didn't even see her die. I guess she got pot-shotted by friendly fire, because, I mean, there's her body. I'll take that staff, thank you very much. We can't use it, of course, but there's no rule saying we can't sell it. All that's left is one cultist orc to take care of, and then we can free this Ixar and tell him to go back to Kabilis. Wait for Lord Kazakthul's orders. Oh, wait, wrong game, my bad. Now, I gotta tell you, this rarely happens right here. Having both assassins at this set of runestones, very nice. Typically, we kill one of them, or both of them, in the comfort of their own home. Now, you might hear people say, go outside, touch grass. I like to think that Severi and Jarl did follow that advice, and hey, look where that got them. And yeah, I'm jumping around just to get a little bit of experience for our armor, and then we take out Jarl, lickety-split, no problem. Let's move on, shall we? Now, while we're typically playing a more law-abiding, just character in this run, and we're about to level up here, our focus always goes to strength, agility, and endurance. I accidentally killed some person because they got in front of me while I was, firing an arrow. So, let's right that wrong. Let's wipe that stain clean, shall we, by taking out Lucien Lachance. Now, Lucien Lachance is pretty tough, as befits a man of his rank, a listener in the Dark Brotherhood. But unfortunately for him, although the listener robes and hood are amazing, and unfortunately we can't use them, they're not much in the way of protection. Well, so far on this channel, Lucien Lachance is 2 for 2. We've encountered him twice and killed him twice. I might start a count gag for that somewhere down the road. But only a third time's the charm. So, getting back to the Fighters Guild, don't worry, I did not forget about that. Gonna go ahead and brighten this up in editing for you so you can follow the battle. I did not have the benefit of this while fighting these savage trolls. We're getting to the real nitty-gritty here, although I'm not sure if these guys are actually scripted to be savage trolls and ogres whom we'll be battling here shortly. But I think it's kind of funny that the story for this particular quest is that the local Fighters Guild Master's son has been the, shall we say, subject of nepotism, so we're supposed to bodyguard him on a real mission. I think this is a bit too much for that poor guy. I can't begin to imagine how difficult this quest would be if the dude we're escorting was not marked as essential. I mean, he totally shouldn't be, especially with what the quest and the NPCs have been telling us about this guy. But I'm kinda glad for it here, to be honest. And not only that, but we can do some business on the side because there's a lady down in, I think it's Bravo or Leeuwen, I forget. She wants ogre teeth and will pay us 75 gold a pop. And we can vendor the troll fat for some decent gold as well, and it's not too bad for our alchemy. And if you've been paying attention to our health bar, these battles are pretty darn difficult. This is where the challenge, I think, really will start to pick up. This is exactly why I want to get to a higher level, so we can fight tougher, more challenging, and not only that, but it would be cool to see stuff like the Elemental Atronox, all that good stuff. Maybe some more with more fancy armor and fancy titles. With how difficult this place was, I'm actually quite surprised that we only took one try to get through here. I thought for sure I would get completely obliterated. Also, that broken shield, hey, might be valuable somewhere down the road. Now, check this out, right? We took out the unicorn because we have a silver weapon. I was thinking, hey, we got the unicorn horn. I know, through the magic of playing this game before, that, Hirsine, someone please tell me how to say that. I figured bro would take the offering because, I mean, we have the item he wants and he just won't take it. I mean, Clavigus Vial takes Umbra, why won't he take that? So we're gonna go over to good old Malakath and then do his quest. And you thought the whole taking out trolls and the like in that cave was just filler. Masterful storytelling here on Midlothian Odyssey. No, not really. Actually, Malakath, funny enough, is the first Daedric Lord whose artifact I got. I'm not going to count Azra because the game points you in that direction. When I was younger, and the weapon is so awesome, and it's a real shame that we're not going to be able to use it this run. And I gotta say, I'm a simple man, and I like simple instructions. Malakath wants us to free his ogres from a Dunmer noble. That sounds good to me. Well, Lord Durad clearly won't play ball with us, but through the Speechcraft Wheel of Fortune minigame, his wife will, so let's go to the mines and free those good old ogres who will be our friends going forward. And now we could just kill the guards and get their key, but you know what? I want some security XP here. That's one group of ogres freed. And now, there are multiples here, and the guards here surprisingly don't even so much as accost us and hold us up and be like, yo, what are you doing inside of our Lord's mine? Now, we're just here sightseeing, right? All that good stuff. And yes, we could just return to Malakath here, but where's the fun in that? These guards have some pretty darn good gear. Now, I don't know about you guys, but the Dwemer set in this game is some of my favorite aesthetically, whether it's the weapon or the armor. Hey, look at that, Journeyman Light Armor. Love to see that. And now, things are looking kinda bleak here. Our first wave of ogres went down real fast to these guys. But, you know what they say about Second Wind? Well, if you know what they say about Second Wind, I don't, because I don't know any quotes pertaining to it. I just know that Second Winds are awesome. And I couldn't have scripted that better myself. The cavalry in the form of our ogre brothers arrives and helps us clean house lickety-split. See, the fact that we're so melee heavy this run means we have a high strength score, and that has the added benefit of being able to carry a metric boatload of stuff that we really want to loot, such as that guard stuff. Which guard? All the guards. So we go back to our bro Malakath, and he is most pleased at these results, and it turns out that the ogres are now the ones at the Master's helm. Oh boy, I don't feel quite so heroic now, but you know what? We got a cool artifact that we can't use, so let's go give it to Martin, and then we're gonna head on over to good old Sancretor. Well, we'll head to Sancretor here in just a sec. Right now, we just gotta escort Captain Bird through this Oblivion gate. This is typically the low point in these challenge videos for me because Captain Bird is essential, so there's not a whole lot of danger here. However, the guards are in good spirits here, and by good spirits, I mean they're actually alive. That doesn't happen very often. We're going to celebrate the little victories where we can. Now, as we make our way to Sancretor, I was a little disappointed with this area because I thought the ghosts would upgrade here. I don't know if they're programmed to do so or not, but having a silver weapon is pretty great on its own because, well, we can hit ghosts with those. Maybe I'm misremembering or I'm thinking of Morrowind or something, but aren't there more Wraith-looking enemies? I mean, I know there are Wraiths in this game, like a Wraith will visit you if you break one of the tenets of the Dark Brotherhood. The Undead Blades, however, because we're battling them one-on-one, although they take a hot minute to kill, especially because I am mistiming the heck out of my swings here. One-on-one, even with their magical gear, get out of here, bro. You guys should have done the no magical gear challenge. So, if you'll excuse me, we're gonna have the 4 Undead Blades dispel the barrier, we're going to grab that magical tchotchke, and then we are gonna head on over to Miss Karkand. Here's where we get to battle some real challenging enemies here. The zombie guardians are pretty hard. The headless zombies, which you'd think that a headless zombie would be the easiest one to take out, right? The headless zombies in this game don't have a head, and they're usually missing an arm, but they're way stronger than the average zombie. I mean, they're the programming experts, not me, so I'm not gonna question it. Not only are we battling upgraded zombies, but we're battling skeleton heroes and guardians as well. They can soak quite a bit of damage, I must say. As for the goblins, I mean, we're battling skirmishers and berserkers with the occasional standard grunt. Now, one thing that's amazing about fighting zombies, no matter what tier they are, is that because they have crazy health, we can get a ton of weapon experience points off those guys. The Skeleton Guardian right here, while he doesn't do much to us, it does take us quite a few swings to take him down. And as we battle the Zombie Guardian, that's the exact same one that the Lich, the King of Miss Karkand, has, so good practice for the road ahead. It's important that we go through this place nice and slow. One-on-one, they're not too bad, although we have to watch out for the diseases they can inflict upon us. Also, Welkin Stone's pretty great for selling this run. And now, you'll notice the entire time that we've had our racial hotkeyed Adrenaline Rush. While I didn't ban it, I also didn't make use of it at all this run. I have that there because just in case I misclick like I did at the well back at the start of the run. If I misclick, then hey, I just gave us a physical buff. If we were playing as a Dunmer or something, I would ban the Ancestral Guardian because that's clearly a spell. Adrenaline rushes, however, are perfectly natural. Alright, so we're gonna snag that giant Wolkenstone for brother Martin, and then go battle the Lich, who has the Miss Karkand key we're gonna need to get out of here without wasting a ton of time on our lockpicking, which we have very few of anyway. He does hit us pretty hard, but I was surprised at how quickly we took this guy down, and you know, just because I like having weapon experience points, we're gonna battle the Zombie Guardians, and then get a bounce on out of Miss Karkand. After paying the Skumaden a quick and one-time visit, we are now here at the Great Gate, and we're going to make use of our fallen Skooma brethren. I wonder how that happened. Tribute to the run, with the skooma hotkey, we can play some good old parkour and race our way to the top. I really do feel like the skooma den is the Georgia boy of our Elder Scrolls Oblivion runs. Maybe Georgia boy is a frequent customer, and you know what? It makes total sense. Why else would Georgia boy be crazy enough to try to trick Courier 6 into that Boomers and Ellis artillery barrage? Skooma does weird things to you, man. Not that I would know or anything. I hear things. Okay, Paradise is up next, and oh man, is this place crazy. After we chop this little dinosaur guy here down to size, we can go ahead and make our way forward. Kinda surprised to see that enemy there because we're a pretty high level now. After we harvest some herbs here in good old Paradise, as if the little brother called out for his big bro, check it out, we have a full-grown dinosaur here. Yeah, these guys don't play around, they move very fast, they have that same lunging attack, and they deal a ton of damage. But we deal more. After taking them down, we're gonna hop on a boulder, get our surroundings, gather our wits, all that good stuff, and make our way on over to the lovely Flame Atronach. I understand the internet has reacquired its fascination with her. Well, I've been a fan of the Flame Atronach from the get-go. Oh geez, realize that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Well, after the Frost Atronach waves us on over, well, check out that damage. Yeah, this dude deals serious damage with one shot. You'd think it's trained to be the next One Punch Man. I mean, it's got a ways to go, but, you know, I can appreciate effort. Real talk, though, those guys, absolutely terrifying to fight. Like, we were one shot away from fainting. Wow, did I really say fainting? Man, I've been playing too much Pokemon lately. And now, before we battle Cothatet and get the Bands of the Chosen, we're gonna hunt down some venison one more time because, I mean, out of all the things that are here in Paradise, Mankar has deer here. I guess he's a fan of venison too. Also, back in my Destruction Magic only run, I was a bit confused because I thought that Mankar was a Dragonborn too because he was able to wear the amulet for some reason. That has since been explained to me, and it makes a lot of sense actually, because Paradise is Mankar's personal playground, so the Amulet of Kings has to play by his rules. That is 9th level D&D magic at work, my friends. Speaking of magic, here's how we typically deal with the giant dinosaurs here inside of the grotto. Again, go nice and slow, and guide them down into the pits below. This took quite a while to get through, but with this strategy, it was nice, safe, consistent, and awesome. And now, before we take on Mankar, we have to talk with Raven and Ruma, his kids, whom we took out. And what I really like about this battle coming up is that you can actually farm Ruma and Raven if you wait, because they'll get back up just like our buddy Eldomel, because of course we recruited him too. I don't know about you guys, but I kinda like Eldomel. He's a nice little addition to Paradise. A once faithful servant who seeks to repent and realizes what he's done is wrong because he's in Paradise, and Paradise is, not what he was told it would be. Alright, with those two out of the way, let's go for the big man himself, Mankar Cameron. We're gonna slap on the strong poison of separation because, hey, if we can't use magic, Mankar's not allowed to either. But a better way to make sure he can't cast magic is to paralyze him with a poison, chop him down to size, and just before he can get off his first spell, nope, he is Dunyan Rings, baby. Well, that was easy. Last and certainly not least, we have to make sure that Martin gets to the Temple of the Nine. The Daedra and the Dremora here are pretty darn tough considering that we're in double digits. And what I found the most interesting about this particular encounter is once we make our way outside, we're actually fighting primarily Flame Atronachs here. Maybe they want to be the harem to Brother Martin because they know what's about to come up. It's not too late to jump sides to Brother Martin's side. Now, I did make a bit of a mistake in this run. I thought that endurance determined how much you get staggered, but it's agility. So as we go to battle this Dremora here, I get staggered a couple times, and I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'm done. This has happened to me so many times this run. We're gonna grab Martin, say goodbye to the Flame Atronach harem, which I'll take myself, thank you very much, and guide him to the Temple of the One, and it shall be done. We bid Martin farewell. He transforms into the avatar of Akatosh as Mayward's Dagon breaks down the ceiling like he's the Kool-Aid Man. And the run is donezo because Martin takes care of business. That's how you power level yourself to epic level. Good job, Septum. That royal bloodline nepotism really coming in clutch. I really hope you guys enjoyed that run. I had a blast with this run. There was so much that I wanted to show in this run, but then I was like, wow, I have like 80 gigabytes worth of footage. I can't possibly get all of that into a challenge video. And then I realized I never talked about the Blackwood Company, but I guess I'll save them for another video. On screen right about now, you can see some runs that are coming up in the future, including Fallout New Vegas as Sunny Smiles, and Elder Scrolls Oblivion as a Dark Brotherhood assassin. So we currently have gotten Azura Star Sheogorath's Wabbajack, Umbra as a level 1 character, and we're gonna get revenge on Hersene later on because we killed that unicorn at level 4, man. I wanted to turn that thing in. Well, we'll get to his artifact, and if I sounded a bit off here, I'm fighting off an infection, so sorry about that. That said, I will see you guys at the next video. Take it easy. Later.